Okay, Parshas Chukas. So we've had many shiurim on Parshas Chukas in the past. We had a shiur about Moshe hitting the rock, a shiur about the mon, a shiur about why Aaron accepted his fate to pass away without davening. Moshe stormed the heaven, Aaron did not. We had a shiur if tzaddikim, if their bodies give off tumah. We had a shiur if one is allowed to go visit the tomb of a tzaddik and converse with the tzaddik. So we've discussed many aspects of this parsha. We had a shiur, fine. But there's always more, there's always something new. And today we're going to pick on a statement of Rashi, and it's going to lead us on quite a journey, okay? Rashi quotes towards the beginning of the parsha, he's quoting from Reb Moshe Hadarshan, who was before him in Narbonne, in France. And the statement is in number one, it's a one-liner. The Para Aduma was arranged under the hashgacha, the auspices of Elazar, Aaron HaKohen's son, Elazar HaKohen, not Aaron himself. Why? So Rashi quotes from Reb Moshe Hadarshan, Ulefi, number one, Sha'Aaron asas egel, since Aaron made the egel, Loi nasis avoid zu al yadai. The egel is a calf, the paradum is a cow. And it's not coincidental. It's very specific. The Eibusha targeted the cow as the mother of the calf. When the child makes a mess, the child leaves the wrappers of the candy around the shul. No, the tata goes and picks up the mess. If the mother was here, she would do it. Tovei ha'ein, let the mother come with the kaneach es tsoyas and wipe up the mess. You see, when the Jews stood by our Sinai, the effects of the original sin of the Eitz Hadas ceased. And therefore the Jews would have lived forever when we stood by Mount Sinai. Just like Adam before he ate from the fruit. However, when we worshipped the Egel, we brought all of that mess back. The Zuamah returned. The mess was brought back, and therefore the calf kind of brought death into the world. So impurity that arises from death is cured through the Para Aduma. The mother comes and cleanses the mess of the child. Aaron was involved, whether we like it or not, and with all the explanation that there are, the fact is, Aaron HaKohen, the great Aaron HaKohen, was unwillingly, he was roped into the story of the Egel, and therefore he can't be the one to actually oversee the making of the Para Aduma. Why? She'ein kateger nasa saneger. A prosecutor cannot become a defendant. The word kateger is like the word kitrug, a prosecution, just to mix around the gimel and the resh, but kateger is the same thing. It's a prosecutor. Some say it comes from the word koyre tager, one who calls out a complaint. And saneger is soine tager, the one who hates the complaint. But generally we translate kateger as a prosecutor and the saneger as the defense attorney. You ever went to a court case where the prosecutor becomes a defense attorney? Never seen it, huh? Ein kateger nasa saneger. Oh, so, well, to the point that the Eibusha said, we're going to overlook Aaron for this one, and because Aaron was involved in the Egel, he can't be the one to create the remedy, to be the saneger, the defense. Has to be his son. So that's what Rashi says. This idea of ein kateger nasa saneger, the prosecutor cannot become the defense attorney, is found a number of times throughout Shas. And we're going to explore a little bit, and then we're going to focus on one area of halacha, which is really quite fascinating, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So join me in number 2. Thank you. A bracha was already made before, right? Number 2 is a Gemara and Chagiga, right? Okay, so we're going to first go on a little bit of a swim a little bit through the ocean of the Gemara and some Rishonim, and then we're gonna focus on one particular issue. Fascinating. Number 2 is a Gemara and Chagiga. Twice in Sefer Yechezkel there is a description of Yechezkel's chariot. The Merkava, the chariot that Yechezkel envisioned. It's in the beginning, chapter Aleph, and also chapter 10. However, the Gemara points out in Chagiga an apparent contradiction between the two descriptions. In one place it says, that what did these malachim on the heavenly chariot that Yechezkel envisioned, what was their appearance? They had a pnei adam, they had a face of a man. They had four faces. There was a face, a human face, a pnei arya, face of a lion, a pnei shur, and a pnei nesher. So you have an ox, you have the eagle, you have the lion, and you have an adam. Uksiv, but the other place says, we're in the second line, Varba ponim le'echad, there were four other faces to each one. Let's see if you see the difference. Pnei echad, there was a pnei kruv, pnei hasheni, pnei adam, hashlishi, pnei arya, haravi, pnei nesher. In the second place, it says there was a nesher, there was an arya, a lion, there's an adam, there's a kruv. What are we missing? We're missing the ox. We don't have the ox, instead we have a kruv. What is a kruv? We'll see in a moment. But in the first parak, you have the ox. In the 10th parak, all of a sudden there's no ox, there's a kruv. A kruv. We'll see what that is in a moment. Ve'ilu shur loy kachashiv, we're in number 2, the 4th line. But in the first vision, in the second vision, the ox is gone. So Amar Reish Lakish Yechezkel bikish alav rachamim. Yechezkel sought mercy from God for the chariot. V'hafchai l'kruv, he transformed the ox face, right? These malachim had four faces. The ox face was transformed to a kruv. Because Arma lafan of Rebbeinu Shalom, Kateger ye'asa saneger, can the prosecution become a defendant? What does that mean? An ox is from the calf and cow family. It all goes back to the Egel Azov, the golden calf. If you have the Merkava, the chariot in heaven, which constantly has the face of an ox, that means in heaven it's constantly a reminder of the sin of the golden calf. What's worse is, in Chassidus it's explained, and it's actually to Ramban, it's Ramban in Chumash and Parshas Kisisa, who ties it to a medrash. The reason why the Jews made the golden calf is, A, they knew the Eibishter wants to rest in gold. In the end of Parshas Yisro, the Eibishter spoke about not making your own golden vessels to house God, but there's going to be an Aron. They knew the Eibishter wants to rest in gold. They also knew that the Eibishter has a chariot that he rides, so to speak, and there's an ox over there. So you put 2 and 2 together, let's make a golden calf. That's where they got the idea from. Okay, hold on. Before let the idea settle for a little bit. Let it settle. It's great. It fits like a. So.
They could have made a golden eagle or one of the other ones.
Right. Okay. Would that have been any better?
How long from when Moshe didn't come back down?
Till the eagle?
Until they completed building the eagle. How
many hours? So they assumed Moshe was going to come down on the 16th of Tammuz in the morning. He didn't. They made the eagle that very day, and they wanted to serve it. Aaron said, Chag LaHashem Moch, let's wait till tomorrow. Let's sleep the night, because he knew that Moshe was coming down the next day. He thought by the time they get up, they'll party all night, they'll sleep in. By the time they get up, Moshe will be back. The problem is the Jews woke up early the next morning. So they worshipped it before Moshe came down. So they worshipped it just a couple hours before he came down. They made it the day before.
Just one day they built
Yeah. Well, they threw in the fire. Well, there's lots of midrashim how it happened. Yunus and Yumbris, Bilam's kids were there. There was the 8 of Rav, they were dancing and doing all their voodoo. And that's it, a golden calf came out, and the calf moved.
Right.
It was like it was eating grass. The calf, it was alive. It was alive. Yeah, fine. So imagine. No, if the reason the Yidden served the eagle is because of the ox and the chariot, then the ox and the chariot definitely is a symbol in heaven to our sin. It was the cause of our sin. So Yechezkel said we got to get that removed. Fine. So the Gemara then asks, my kruv, what taki is a kruv? Rabbi Vo says, keruv means it's like a ruv. Keruv. Keravia, it's like a ravia. Ravia means a child. Shekain bebavel, in Babylon, Kohen, we call the Yanuka child ravia. so it looked like a child. So Rav Papa asked Abai, wait a second. They had 4 faces. One was a lion, one was an eagle, one was a human, one was a child. Well, a child's not a human. The 2 of the faces are the same. One was a kruv, and one was pnei adam. And the 3rd was a lion, the 4th was an ox. Hainu pnei kruv, hainu pnei adam. Rav Papa asked, 2 of the faces would have been identical. Says Abaya, no. Api ravravi, api zutri. There's the big face and the small face. It's not the same. There was an adult face and there was a child face. And they're not the same. It's not the same. Fine. So here's where you see it come up in Agadata. This idea that the prosecutor should not be a defender. Look at number 4 is a Ramban in Masechta Shabbos. His commentary in Masechta Shabbos. When Moshe broke the first Luchos, we know the Eibishter gave him a thumbs up. Said, attaboy. Because the Eibishter told Moshe, I'm going to give you some new sapphire in your tent. I want you to fashion them the same way like the first ones, and I'm going to rewrite the script of the Luchos. Hashem uses the words Asher Shibarta, that you broke the first ones. The word Asher could also mean fortunate, like good on you boy. So Ashrei, fortunate. So frek the Ramban, v'chein tzarchim minom. How do you know Hiskim HaKosh Baruch Hu? The Ramban asked on the Gemara, who said God agreed with him? It says Asher. Harikam meksuvim b'Torah einon lashon isher. Many times the Torah says the word Asher, and it does not convey that there's any stamp being given, any approval being given. So v'shamati, says the Ramban, I heard. He says a pshat that he heard. Mishum d'chsiv, Hashem said Asher shibarta v'samtom ba'oren. Hashem said, the luchos that you broke, v'samtom ba'oren, put them in the oren. We learned from there that both of the luchos were placed in the oren. Both luchos, we discussed it the night of Shavuos, both luchos were placed in the oren. Now, why would God want the broken luchos to be in the oren? If Moshe was never supposed to break them, you wouldn't want to have them in the oren, because it resembles something negative. If the Eibishter said put them in the oren, that luchos and the shivrei luchos, both the new ones and the broken ones, are placed in the oren, ilmolei haya b'shvirasim chet. If Moshe sinned by breaking them, the Eibishter would not have instructed to have them for posterity in the luchos. Ein kateger b'makom saneger. You can't have an accuser in the place of a defendant. The Aron is the place where the Eibishter connects to us through. That's the gateway to heaven. You would not have the Luchos there if they resembled a negative action on behalf of Moshe. Ela malamed, it must be shvirasim chavif of that the shvira was precious to God. A fascinating Ramban. So he invokes this very idea. Join me in number 5 for a second. Number 5, it's a Gemara in Kedushin. The Gemara uses this for halacha. The Gemara wants to know there's 2 ways a woman can absolve her marriage. One of them is that her husband passes. The other is she gets a get. By the way, there are some poskim that believe that if a man undergoes gender reassignment surgery completely, it doesn't really matter the top. The point is at the bottom, that they completely remove their masculinity and they create a nikvus, a hole. There are some poskim that believe that they lose their halachic status of a man. So one of my kashas on that is, and that would mean if such a person would do that, the marriage would be off, because a woman can't be married to a woman. But the Mishnah says there's only 2 ways a woman can free herself from marriage, either a get or the dying of the husband. It doesn't say, well, let the husband castrate himself, and then it doesn't say that. What? No, death means his God is not here. No. The Gemara clearly discusses in Kedushin, death means the husband is not here. Unless if he does that, the husband's a different person, it's a new person, the husband's gone.
He said it, he castrates himself. The Gemara doesn't say that.
Right, and the Mishnah says 2 ways. Anyhow, so therefore, I don't know, I think it's actually very powerful proof. But apparently not everyone feels so. What?
On the Sudas is also the same.
No. It's only even those that believe that the gender changes only if you have to create a nikvus, you have to create a hole. castration of the Beitzim wouldn't do it. No, you have to completely change the whole thing. And I just threw that in. But just listen to this. By Rabbi Akiva Eiger, there was a fellow who was supposed to divorce his wife halachically, and the Beis Din was trying to enforce it, and he laughed it off. You're not going to tell me what to do. I decide my own life. He was torturing his wife. Anyhow, Rabbi Akiva Eiger summons him in. And Rabbi Akiva Eiger tells him, listen, you know that at the beginning of Masechta Kiddushin says there's two ways a wife can free herself from her marriage. One is a get, the other is the husband dies. You choose. You threatening me? Anyhow, he laughed it off, he walked out. As he was leaving, he walked down some stairs, he tripped, he fell, broke his neck and died. Yeah, crazy. Anyhow, okay, back to... So the Gemara wants to know, though, how do you know that... so when it comes to divorce, you can give the woman a document. The Torah says clearly. So too when it comes to marriage, one of the ways to affect marriage is to do kiddushin, right? And one of the ways to do that, there are three ways: cohabitation, money, and a shtar. There are three ways to betroth a woman: kesef, shtar, and bia. There's the money, there's the document, and there's the bia. Chassidim would say there's three ways that a chassid becomes unified with his rebbe. There's the kesef, there's the money that the chassid gives a rebbe, that's tzedakah, that the rebbe gives out. The shtar is the kvittel, the letter that you give, and the bia is the coming in for yechidus. Anyhow, so you can marry a woman through a shtar. So the Gemara wants to know, where's the source for that? So it says in number 5. The Torah says in Parshas Kisei, say v'yotza v'hoisa, that a woman will leave her marriage and remarry somebody else. Makish, we compare Havaya, her new marriage, Liyitzia, to her divorce. The Torah says she divorces man A and she remarries man B. That's the case over there. We juxtapose the two actions together to teach me my Yitzia B'Shah, just like divorce can be through a document, that's clear in the Chumash. So to Havaya, so to becoming remarried, also B'Shtar, also works by a document. So frek to Gemara, really? You know you could marry a woman by giving her money. So maybe you could divorce a woman as well by giving her money. Once we compare the two, Va'akish nami, let me compare Yitzia la'Havaya. Let me compare the other way, divorce to marriage. Just like marriage, you could use money, which we learned from other psukim. So too, you should be able to divorce her through money. Not that she gives back the ring. You would have to give her you would have to give her something else. Here, take this and get out of here. But we know, right? Exactly. This is, remember me with this, or don't remember me. But that's not the halacha. A woman needs a get, or the husband dying, he can't give her money. So Abaye said, what? Yoimru kesef machnis kesef moitzi? Do you think money could bring her into marriage and also divorce her? Saneger ye'ase kateger? Can a defendant become a prosecutor? You bring her in as a defense. It's a beautiful thing, marriage. What? No, it's Sane. Okay, yeah. But right. No, marriage is marriage is a good thing. Okay. A man without a husband has no bracha, has no tova. Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, exactly. Right. That's exactly what he pointed out. Right. So.
The husband is marrying, so he can't technically divorce with his Is that the question? No.
That. Money can't be used both to affect marriage and to dissolve marriage. Creating marriage is a defense. You know, well, like they say, marriage is a great institution, but who wants to live in an institution? Apparently, the Gemara views it differently. Apparently, in the eyes of Chazal, marriage is a good thing. It's great, right? That's what they tell you, and that's why you're also known to get married. And once you get married, then you find out the truth. But okay, so the Gemara said, wait a second, but then how could a document affect both? So the Gemara asked on Abaye, but then a document, how could, you can get married through a document and divorce, how do you explain that? People say, how could the same document do both? The document which causes divorce, which is clear in the Chumash, we do extrapolate and say causes marriage. How could you say that? Because the source of this is by get. By By money, we know it works by Kiddushin. We're trying to say, let it work also by divorce. Here it's the other way around. The document, we know it works by divorce. Let's say it works by marriage. We say, no, the Kateger can't become a Saneger. That's why we flip it. So the Gemara says a big difference. No. The two documents don't say the same thing. The money is the same money. Mili dahai shtora l'chud, mili dahai shtora l'chud. The words in both documents are different. One of them speaks about marriage, the other speaks about divorce. They both paper and ink, shkayach, but the mahus, the identity of the document is not the same. So more, so to the money. Hachanami hai kaspelachud, hai kaspelachud. When you give money to affect kiddushin, it's not the same giving as affecting divorce. Gemara said no, but the coin is the same. Tiva miyachadu, the actual coin is the same. By the document is different. Here the coin is actually the same coin.
Gold and silver.
Money's money, because each of them could have been used by both.
Yeah.
You can't use a divorce document to affect the marriage. The money you could have used. Okay, fine. So you see, come up in halacha. Join me number 6 for a second. This is in Sefer Chassidim from Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid. Echad, number 6. Echad haya yoshev al katadra. There was a person who sat in a special cubicle or platform in the Beis Hamikdash. There was a guy who everyone thought was a big tzaddik, and he had his own little podium in the shul where he sat on. Oh. And he was a sofer, he was a scribe. He acted like he was a tzaddik, but the truth is he was a Rosh Gomer. The guy was completely wicked. Va'arul, which could even be never had a bris. Now the times of the Tzemach Tzedek, there was somebody who everyone thought was a big tzaddik, he fasted all day. The Tzemach Tzedek screamed, he's busy freshing in the bathroom. He used to go to the bathroom and when no one saw and eat. Anyhow, so all right, you know.
Rosh Gomer, so
yeah,
that means
but
he wouldn't even keep Shabbos.
One day a wise man comes to town. The Chacham walks into shul, and they're like, there's nowhere to sit, right? He walks in, you walk into shul, all the seats are there. He says, he asks him, where can I sit? So the guy said, there's an empty seat in shul. The Ploini HaSofer, the big tzaddik, the Sofer, Nisyashiv Be'er Aches, just moved out of town. Extra seat. You can sit on the podium. Tuchal Leishiv, you could sit in his place, al-Katadra on the podium. That he sat there. Not just that, Kulmoisov V'Joy Ozabakan. On the thing, he left all of his apparatus, his Sofer apparatus. You have the ink, you have the pen. Amr, the Chacham said, I'm not sitting there. And I won't use his kulmus, I won't use his pen, I won't even use his ink. I won't even daven in the siddur that he used, because ein kateger nasa saneger. I won't even daven in the siddur that he used. The Sefer Chassidim also says elsewhere that if a Sefer or a siddur was written by a Rasha, you shouldn't daven in it. Rav Moshe Feinstein says a whole tshuva, but it's not today's topic, but that Rav Moshe Feinstein says if a siddur was printed on Shabbos, you shouldn't daven in it. If it was printed by negative energies, even by Yidden, but if it was, you shouldn't use it. You shouldn't use it, and for this reason, ein katega nasanega, something which is has so much negativity, it can't be used for positivity.
Specific that siddur or Moshe?
Same thing.
Same thing. Same idea.
Yeah, that would be an explanation for it, right? Yeah, but the truth is, it's even by something which is stolen. We're going to see that the Yerushalmi. Hold on, let's go. Join me though in number 3. Go back up a line to number 3. Number 3 is really the source of the whole discussion about ein katega nasa sanega. It's the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara in Rosh Hashanah is talking about what type of shofar you could use Rosh Hashanah. Now we had a whole shir about this before Rosh Hashanah once. The Chachamim say you can't use the horn of a bull, an ox, a cow, the whole family, all those horns are out. Rabbi Yossi allows, the Chachamim don't allow. And the Gemara wants to know, why did the Chachamim have a problem with any shofars from the cow family? So look at number 3. Ula Omar, Ula says, I'll tell you why. Hainu time, you know what's bothering the Rabbanan? Could the Rav Chisda, it's based on Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda is obviously an Ameira, and Ula is trying to explain the Mishnah, but what he means is the idea that Rav Chisda spoke about, that's the underlying logic of the Chachamim's din. Because Rav Chisda said, "Mipnei ma ein kohen gadol nichnas bebigdei zav lifnai v'lifnim la'avod avodah." On Yom Kippur, when the kohen gadol goes all the way in, lifnai v'lifnim means all the way into the Kodesh Kadoshim, he wears white clothes, not the regular golden clothes. Why? You know why? Lefisha ein kateger nasa saneger. Gold is a prosecutor, the golden calf. The Kohen Gadol cannot enter the Holy of Holies in golden garments. So fragt the Gemara v'loi, va'ika dam par. On Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol brings the blood of a cow into the Kodesh Kadoshim. He sprinkles it in front of the Aron, etc. But the gold he can't bring, he brings in the blood of a cow. Says the Gemara, no. He's not bringing the cow, he's bringing the blood. The blood is it's already become a different substance. It doesn't look, it's blood. It was from a cow, fine, but it's already a different substance. Whereas gold is gold. Frek the Gemara, do you know what's inside the Kodesh Kadoshim? The iron is gold. What, the Kohen Gadol can't walk in because he's wearing gold? There's gold in there day in, day out. There's a iron, the kapiris is gold, the kruv is gold. Says the Gemara, the issue is not if gold is in there, but when you're trying to offer something, the Kohen Gadol went in with the Ketos is offering something. You can't try and offer something to the Eibishter with gold, because then you're trying to be a defendant. Now, even though the Ramban said already before that the Luchos and the Aron themselves are also a defendant, but the Gemara here is saying it's a different tier, it's a different level. When you're trying to offer something to appease the Eibishter, you don't want to have anything with you that's going to bring up the golden calf. So frek the Gemara, when the Kohen Gadol brought in the Ketores, he had a spoon, he had a pan. It was made out of gold. Says the Gemara, it's only if you adorn yourself with the gold. It's only if you adorn yourself with the gold.
So we're really going into the details of what would offend Hashem. Like how,
it's kind of, in heaven there are many voices. The Eibishter allows it. There's a court, and we don't want to give any ammunition to the
Isn't it more that
to the voices
white,
of judgment.
First of all, it represents the start. Secondly, it's humility. With gold, it shows status, that you are a high person, a lofty person.
Okay, it's very nice. When you go walk into the Eibishter,
as opposed to.
All right, I hear. But then the golden kalim shouldn't be gold either.
You. It represents the Eibishter. There's a difference.
Very nice, very nice. Good. That's a very nice idea. What?
Clothes, but he used the vestments from the shul. That's a difference.
Well, but that's daily.
The golden, even his clothes, he could only wear them while he's doing the service.
Oh,
so it's hektish. It's still hektish. Right, still hektish. Yeah. And we spoke about that once, about the Kohanim using their clothes for personal things. Fine. So the Gemara is really limiting it. It's only if you adorn yourself. And but once you have that, you could already say maybe that's the reason for the Aron. Right? The first answer was the Aron, the Kapiris. That's okay to be gold because you're not offering something to the Eibishter. But then we said, what about the kaf, the spoon and the shovel? And then so for that, we said it's only if you adorn yourself. So once you say that, it could be the first thing gets thrown out. Could be the orange okay because it's not adorning yourself. But the Gemara asks, wait a second. Va'ika bigdei zav mi bachutz. The whole Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol, for a big chunk of the day, he's wearing his golden clothes, doing the avodah. The Gemara says, no, mi bifnim karmin. It's only a problem inside. What do you want to say?
Aaron himself.
Yeah.
The first thing we said was Aaron couldn't do the avodah because he was the one who did the egel. So how could he go into the
Chas v'shalom, this is proof he didn't do the egel.
Or how could he ever go into the?
Otherwise, that would be a good question. The fact that it's not a question. The fact that it's not a question. Nobody contemplated.
Okay. Hold on. No. You actually. Let's learn a little more, and you'll realize how good the question is.
This Gemara doesn't bring up Aaron. Clearly, he had no contemplation.
Read the Rashi number 1.
That's right. Moshe Darshan, a guy in France, he's giving drushes. He's giving drushes. That's a drusha. That's a drusha.
Into the category for Ephraim Margolis.
No, it's the best. Moshe Darshan is the best. He's leaving Aaron completely out.
No, he says Aaron couldn't partake in the
And
Parah
then the
Adumah.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Moshe Hadashin. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, so back to number 5. But so the Gemara to the Kohen Gadol, though a whole Yom Kippur or a chunk of it's wearing gold. So the Gemara says no, that's outside. It's only a problem b'fnim. So it's only a problem if it's b'fnim inside. It's only a problem if you adorn yourself. And the Gemara's first idea, it's only a problem if you're offering something to the Eibishter. It sounds like only if you have all 3. So the Gemara says, then what's with the shofar? You're telling me that's why the Chum don't allow a shofar from the cow family. Because it's a ein kateg and nasa saneger because of the golden calf. Shofar nami mibechutzu. The shofar is outside the Holy of Holies. Says the Gemara, kiven de l'zikaronhu. The purpose of the shofar is to remind God, to bring good memories. Kibifnim dami. It's like it's done on the inside.
It's more sensitive.
That's how the Gemara finishes. But the Gemara said right before bifnim is not enough. It has to be you're adorning yourself. It has to be you're offering something. So the Ritva explains in the Gemara the shofar is really doing all 3. You're adorning yourself because the beauty of the voice of the shofar. The call of the shofar that inspires you is considered adorning yourself. The fact you're trying to do a mitzvah, trying to appease the Eibishter, means it's an offering. And the fact that it's trying to elicit a good zikaron for us in front of Hashem makes it like it's b'fnim. That's how the Ritva learns. Rashi though in the Gemara says no, that by the shofar, as long as it's b'fnim, it's already enough. You don't need the other ones. So the kaf and the machta, how are you going to learn? Let's okay, fine. So this Gemara is really crucial. So this is pretty much, these are some of the main sources where the idea comes from. But join me in number 7. This is really where our discussion takes off. Let's do this quickly. It's a Gemara in Brachas Daf Lamed Beis. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Kol Kohen Shaharages HaNefesh. A Kohen who ever murdered someone, Lo Yisa Es Kapov should never duchen. Shenemar, it says, Yedechem, your hands, Domim Malay are full of blood. What is that pasuk? Look on the left in number 8. It's a pasuk in the beginning of Yeshaya. Ubefarischem kapechem, when you spread your palms, when the Kohanim spread your palms, Alim einai mikem, I will hide my eye from you. Gam kisar but tefillin ishmei, you can daven as much as you want, I won't listen. Yedechem domle, because your hands are full of blood. So Rabbi Yochanan says, since your hands are full of blood, you can't duchen. It's a clear pasuk in Yeshaya. Any Kohen that kills someone cannot duchen.
What about in time of war?
That's exactly our discussion. And that's what we're going to see. Okay, one?
No, he asked the same question.
Okay. So first of all, this is mamish. What's the connection to what we saw until now? So join me in number 9. You'll see the connection. Fascinating. Number 9 is a Gemara in Yevamos. This is real Talmudic logic. So you got to take out your thumb, wiggle it around a few times. Okay, let's go. Kal v'chomer, you ready?
Wait, the Kohanim were the ones who killed people by Moshe when the Ovadya Zarah and
The Levim.
It doesn't say the Kohanim didn't participate.
How many Kohanim were there?
Were they chosen? They weren't chosen yet. They were only chosen after.
That's it.
They weren't chosen yet.
It was only three.
It was only after the Eibishter made that decision to take Levi instead of
him. He has only Kohanim on his mind, so he mixes things up.
Anyhow, but listen, he's going to love this. The Gemara Yevamos Daf Zayin says the following Kal v'chomer, that you're allowed to bring korbanos on Shabbos, even though shechting a korban, you're going to be violating Shabbos. The service in the Beis Hamikdash overrides Shabbos. Okay. Now,
On fire and everything?
yeah, the whole thing. Now, if you have a Kohen who murdered someone, okay, and the Kohen is hiding out in the Beis Hamikdash and is busy doing the Avodah, do we allow him to finish and then we schlep him out to try and kill him? To try him and kill him? Or do we allow him to finish? So it's a pasuk in Parshas Mishpatim, it's black and white. It says if a person kills his friend deliberately, me'im mizbechi tikochen olamus, from my mizbeach take him to kill him. What does it mean from my mizbeach take him to kill him? It means, Rashi says, and Rashi quotes it from a Gemara in Yuma Daf Pehei, that even if this Kohen was busy doing the Avodah, me'im mizbechi, it's a pasuk in Mishpatim, from my mizbech, take him and kill him. Which means that even though this guy is busy doing the Avodah, we override the Avodah and say Bezdin needs to kill him. No, that's something. No. With Yoyev. No. So that's something else. That's something else. It's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. Yeah. So here's a Kal V'chomer. Shabbos is important, but service in the temple is greater because you override Shabbos to bring karbanos. But you override the service in the temple to administer death if the Kohen is a murderer. Which means Bezdin administering capital punishment supersedes service in the temple. Service in the temple supersedes Shabbos. Then Bezdin should execute people on Shabbos as well. That's the argument. So let's read in number 9. Uma avoid the service in the temple is chamura, is serious. It pushes away Shabbos, and nonetheless, ritzicha doicha for Bezdin to kill the murderer will even trump the avodah. So Shabbos is the lowest. On top of that is service in the temple, pushes away Shabbos. Above that is Bezdin's obligation to kill a murderer. Will do that at the cost of avodah. So, as it says, me'im mizbechi tikachen olam, must take the kohen away from the mizbech to kill him. So Shabbos, which is lower than the avodah, for sure should be pushed away for Bezdin to administer capital punishment.
No.
Wait. This is not the conclusion. Ultimately, we learn out from psukim that we don't do it. But the Gemara explains why you needed a pasuk, because logically you would take out your thumb. You would have said there's a hierarchy over here. Shabbos is the lowest. It's pushed away by avodah, which is above. Avodah is pushed away for Bezdin to kill a murderer. So then Bezdin should for sure kill a murderer on Shabbos. That was the Kal V'chomer. You got to love their Kal V'chomers, right?
No, but it doesn't say to kill the murderer on Shabbos. It just says to kill the murderer, but it doesn't say on Shabbos.
That's true.
Yeah. Take him out to prevent
That's
him.
true. That's why we needed a Kal V'chomer.
To prevent him from doing the avodah on Shabbos.
To kill him. No, kill him. Well, the Gemara's argument is, no. Let's say during the week, the guy's hiding out in the temple, we take him out and kill him on the spot. Which means we would kill, although it's coming at the cost of the service. Now, service comes at the cost of Shabbos. So look at number 10. Number 10 is a Tosfos. Shenemar me'im mizbech, says Tosfos, va'afilu im ein shom kohen acher, even if there's no other kohen, roi la'avodah, even if this is the only kohen, which means the avodah nitchis, we're going to lose the service in the temple, it's worth it in order to give justice to the criminal. And that's why the Gemara said, so then maybe you should do it on Shabbos too. Frek tois v'im term, I'll ask you a shaila. What's the Gemara on about? The dilma maybe hasam lav mishum dirtzicha dachi avodah. When we pull him on a Tuesday, you pull him out of the temple. You say, you're going to kill you because you're a murderer. It's because the obligation to kill a murderer is stronger than avodah. No, maybe this kohen is unfit to serve. Maybe it's because Gavru hu deloi chazi. Maybe we're barking up the wrong tree. Maybe, we schlep him out of the temple because he's unfit. A kohen who has a mum, who serves in the Beis Hamikdash, he's unfit. He's disqual. Whatever he does doesn't count. A kohen who doesn't have a bris, is an oral, doesn't count, right? A cholol, machlokes tanoim, fine. But over here, maybe the reason is...
It's not because the more chashuv.
Exactly. Maybe it's because he can't do the avodah. Like we say, kohen shaharag nefesh can't lo yises kapov. As it says, yedechem domim maleo. Tosfos' question is, just like a kohen can't duchen if he killed, maybe he can't do anything. So the reason we schlep him out of the temple is not because killing the murderer trumps the service. It's because the guy can't do the service. That's the shaila. And by the way, the Zohar Taka says a kohen that kills someone shouldn't do the service at all. Tosfos disagrees with the Zohar. Tosfos says no. V'yesh loymar, no. Al kor chachazi, for sure he's able to do the service. Because ein mechalal avodah, because if he does, he doesn't disqualify. How do I know? It's a Gemara in Yuma that says me'im mizbechi and not me'al mizbechi. The Gemara in Yuma says, Hashem says, take him from next to the mizbeach. Don't take him from on top of the mizbeach. And Rashi says, if this murderous kohen already started the avodah, you let him finish. It's only if he's there hanging out trying to start. If he's already started, you let him finish. So that obviously means he's able to do the avodah. And if you remove him before he starts, it must be because of executing the murderer is more of a priority than the avodah. That's answer number one. And as Tosha says, he could do the avodah. So why can't he duchen? V'lo yisa es kap of chumra ba'almahu. Not duchening is just a chumrah. He can really do the service. According to this answer, a Kohen who's a murderer can do the service.
It's kosher.
Yeah, the Gemara in Brachos in number 7, he can't duchen. It's a chumrah ba'almahu, and maybe taka that same chumrah would apply to the service in general, but it's only a chumrah ba'alma, it's not real law. Tosha says number 2, va'oid says Tosha, it's dafka duchening, not anything. Dafka he can't duchen, because he killed the guy with his hands. The ein kateger nasa saneger, the same hand that killed someone can't bench. That's the issue.
Or if he kills with the leg?
The body. The same hands that killed, those legs became his hands. The same hands that killed someone can't be the hands to bench. And it says in the Pasuk in Yeshaya number 8, B'farischem kapechem, it's only about the duchening. So Tosha's second answer is that it's only duchening that a Kohen who's a murderer can't do. Bringing the kabbanis he can. A Kohen he can be a mob boss. He comes into the temple, he serves. He serves. He wants to duchen, we throw him out. The first answer of Tosha says the chumrah ba'alma, but it could be for everything. It could be for everything the Kohen shouldn't do. But this is the fundamental Tosha, because Tosha is giving two explanations of why the Kohen who's a murderer can't duchen. So this is Nageya these days, right? So let's do this. Join me in number 11, on the left side, number 11. This is Rabbi Yosef Engel in his footnotes on Gemara. He says, look in the Ravya. The Ravya was one of the Rishonim in Germany. He says, Rak lechatchila lo yisa. The Ravya says, even by duchening, the Kohen who killed someone, it's only lechatchila he shouldn't duchen. Im alo lo yerid. Once he's up there, he shouldn't go down. Definitely no one can tell him to go down. According to the Ravya, the whole thing, it's only lechatchila, don't go up. But once he's up, he doesn't go down. He doesn't have to take himself down. For sure, no one can take him down. And then, skip 2 lines. He says, the Ravya writes even further, b'shinuya achon, a second answer, when it says, lo yisa dekan hakavana rak the lav oirich arash yisa, aval eino iser. The Ravya says further, when it says a kohen lo yisa, it means it's not appropriate. It's not telling him what he can or can't do. It's not oirich, it's not derech eretz.
It's not halacha.
Right. So the first pshat to the Ravya, it's halacha, it's only lechatchila. Don't go up. Once it's up, don't go down. The Ravya then says even further, it could be it's just telling you it's not appropriate. Like, how could he duchen? But it's not really telling you a halacha. So that's like Tosha's first, it's a chumrah ba'alma. Here the Ravya is, even more liberal. It could be something like don't go up, but once you ascend, it's okay. And more than that, it could be it's b'chlal just telling you what derech eretz is. So that's an important Ravya. That if to bear in mind, according to that, if a Kohen who's a murderer wants to duchen, no one can tell him boo. No one can tell him boo. Join me in number 12. Number 12 is where the Shulchan Aruch codifies this din of the murderous Kohen can he duchen. Rabbi Yosef Kaira is quite severe. He says in number 12, Kohen shaharegas, if a Kohen killed someone, afilu b'shoigig, even by mistake, lo yisas kapov, he should not duchen, afilu asa tshuva. Rabbi Yosef Kaira paskins, if a Kohen kills someone even by mistake, he should never duchen, even if he did tshuva. So he's definitely not going with the Ravya. He's not even going with Tosha, it's a chumrah ba'alma. He says, lo yisas kapov, finished. Even if he did tshuva. And it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a mistake, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Look at the Ramah, Hagah, v'yesh oim, the Ramah says, im asa tshuva, if he did tshuva, then he can duchen. V'yesh lahakel al ba'al tshuva, you should be lenient on a ba'al tshuva, a murderer who repented. Shaloi linol delis b'fneim, don't close the door in front of them. Ramah says, v'hachi nog, and this is the minig. The minig is that the Kohen who's a murderer, if he does tshuva, he can be accepted. Now, is the Ramah talking about that he killed on purpose or by mistake? You see, Rabbi Yosef Kaira holds even if you killed by mistake, tshuva doesn't help. The Ramah wants to say tshuva helps, but is he talking about if you did it by mistake or even on purpose? So it's a major machlokes in the poskim. What is the Ramah's opinion? Because the truth, Rabbi Yosef Kaira, he's going like the Rambam. Rabbi Yosef Kaira here is presenting the Rambam's opinion is tshuva doesn't help, even if you killed by mistake. The Ramah is going with Rashi, Rabbeinu Gershom, the Tur, all the Ashkenazim who hold tshuva helps. The Shail is this opinion of the Ashkenazim is a tshuva when the murder was mistaken or even on purpose. Right. So on the Ramah you might say even on purpose because the Ramah just says it without. There are many that believe the Ramah though is going on the words of Rabbi Yosef Kaira of B'Shoigig. Ramah is talking about if you did it B'Shoigig. And that's actually the pre-Chodesh. The pre-Chodesh's opinion is tshuva works if you killed accidentally.
Yes, right.
Yeah, okay. We can still take what he says. And you know the words of the Marshal? The Marshal says the Ramban, one.
You'll be going technically according to Beis Yosef.
The pre-Chodesh argues in the Beis Yosef many times, and that's why we mentioned that he was 100 years plus after Rabbi Yosef Kaira. He lives in Israel, and the Sfardim wanted to put him in Cherem. In Mitzrayim, they had an urgent meeting to put the pre-Chodesh in Cherem, either him or his Sfarim. They said, you know what, we'll just put his Sfarim in Cherem. Who do you think he is to argue in Rabbi Yosef Kaira? And the irony is that the next chief rabbi of Egypt was one of the students of the pre-Chodesh. So anyhow, so the pre-Chodesh says, and others say that tshuva only works if you did it by mistake. So you have kind of three options. Either tshuva never works, tshuva always works, or tshuva works if it was done b'shoigig. But there's another psak of the pre-Chodesh, very important. The pre-Chodesh says that this whole discussion is if you killed b'shoigig. What if you killed ba'oinus? What if you killed ba'oinus? The difference of shoig, oinus is an accident. You know, the Ovadya Yosef is a famous tshuva where he discusses a Kohen who never got into a car accident and killed a child. And he discusses, was it negligent? Yeah, he has a whole tshuva about it. And he really gets into the details of how the accident occurred. Was the Kohen, the driver, how negligent was he? If you're on your phone or this or that, and you're considered negligent, then you'd be called b'shoigig. And Ovadya Yosef says, as a Sfardi, I got a passion like Rabbi Yosef Kaira, you can never duchen again in your life. But if you're driving and a kid runs on the street in the front of you, then Rabbi Ovadya Yosef says, I'll paskin like the pre-Chodesh. Because he feels the pre-Chodesh here is not arguing. Rabbi Yosef Kaira himself only said b'shoigig. He didn't say ba'oinus you can't do. So he feels it's not really a debate. But the truth is, oinus is even. What if a guy tells Reuven, kill Shimon or I'll kill you? Kill Shimon or I'll kill you. What's Reuven supposed to do? He's supposed to take the bullet. You can't kill someone to save yourself. But if Reuven goes ahead and kills Shimon to save his life, he can still duchen. Even though he made a wrong, he killed Shimon knowingly, willingly, deliberately, wrongfully, unlawfully, because he should have died. But since his life was at stake, he's called an oinus. We don't kill such a person. If Reuven's going to be killed by the guy, unless he kills Shimon, and Reuven takes the gun to kill Shimon, and two witnesses say, Reuven, you're not allowed to kill him, and if you do, we'll take you to court. You can't take Reuven to court. Because the fact is, Reuven killed under duress. That's a clear halach in the Rambam. So it's considered an oinus, although he shouldn't have done it, and therefore he's allowed to duchen. What?
So oinus has two different...
Oinus has many types of cases, yeah.
What does a person could do if he became, I want to change from Sadi to Ashkenaz?
Because I want to duchen.
I'm Ashkenaz now.
We had a whole thing about permanent makeup. We said the only way for a woman to do that if she becomes Sfardi while she goes to when she goes to the salon, she has to become Sfardi, as we discussed at the time. Let's go. So what we have is this debate if tshuva works, but you have the pre-Chodesh who said if it was done ba'oinus, you're allowed to duchen. Now, if you look at number 14 for a second, this is a Yerushalmi, a beautiful Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says, Loiter, don't say that Kohen's going to bench me. That Kohen is Megala Arayas. That Kohen is immoral. He's a murderer, and he's going to bench me. Hashem says, you think he's benching you? I'm benching you. As it says, V'samu eshmi al b'nei Yisrael v'ani avar, I will bench them. So the Yerushalmi says that you can have a case where a Kohen benches you and is a murderer. So everybody asks, how does that Yerushalmi fit with the statement of number 7 of Rabbi Yochanan? Rabbi Yochanan says a murderer can't bench. In number 14, the Yerushalmi speaks about a guy in shul. He looks at the Kohen, the guy's a murderer. Hashem says, the bracha is coming from me. I thought he can't Duchen. So the Erzarua learns from here that if you do tshuva, it works. This is the source, the Erzarua. The Erzarua said this is the source for Rashi, Rabbeinu Gershom, who say tshuva works. Rabbi Yochanan, number 7, is talking about before he repents. The Yerushalmi is talking about after he repents.
Is it the same Rabbi Yochanan from Yerushalmi?
No, it's not, but we want to try and fit it together. Why would you make a machlekes? But the Rambam, though, holds that tshuva doesn't work. We said before, that's where Rabbi Yechezkel goes like the Rambam. According to the Rambam, how do you fit the Yerushalmi and the Bavli? The Rambam says, number 14, the Yerushalmi is talking about someone, there's no evidence he's a murderer. Just hearsay, rumor on the street. In fact, look at number 13. Next to that is the Shulchan Aruch. Let's look at this. Very important, 2 halachas concerning duchening. What if a moyel is a kohen? He mals a tinnik and the kid dies. God forbid. Can the moyel duchen? Yes, he could duchen again. Why? We'll see in a minute. Ve'im ha'am meranim. What if you have someone that everyone talks about that is a murderer? Kivon shaloin is baradav. Since it's not clear, he can duchen. That halacha of Rabbi Yosef Kaira, where does that come from? Because that's how the Rambam explains why there's no contradiction of the Bavli and Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi that says that the guy can duchen is talking about it's only hearsay. Rabbi Yochanan is talking about there's actual evidence, or if the person knows himself. And he would go down. There's evidence. But if so, that's how the Rambam gets around.
The child would have died anyways.
No. This din is not talking about Milah. This din is a new din. If there's meretzich that this guy is a murderer. Look on the side. You see that Lamed Gimel over there? This Lamed Gimel is from the Taz. He says, Mol Tinnik, if you mal the kid. Why taka if a moyel accidentally kills a child during the bris, is he allowed to duchen?
It's all about kavanas.
So the Taz gives 2 reasons. Number 1, the kivan de echaven lemitzvah potter. The moyel was doing a mitzvah. He was trying to do a mitzvah. Murderer. It was an accident. So according to the Pri Chodesh, you don't have to say that. Just say it was an accident. The Pri Chodesh says in Oinus. The Taz seems it's not enough. It's because he was doing a mitzvah. And the Magen Avram says the same thing. In addition, Shema Meis Balav Hachi. The baby's not 30 days old yet, so we don't even know if it was a viable child. You can't for sure point your finger at the moyel. 2 reasons. Not a viable. You don't know that the moyel is really the one to blame. The kid, no proof he was a viable child. But the first reason is that the moyel was trying to do a mitzvah over here.
But that's also a legal technicality, because isn't it if you kill somebody under 30 days, you're not necessary. You can't be
right because of this reason.
There's no murder here.
But
That second part is
that's saying that Bezin
viable.
can't kill the guy.
Yeah.
So
but
for duchening,
it doesn't have the.
But hold on, I'll tell you though. Listen, there's an incredible letter from the Ralbach, Reb Levi ben Chaviv, who was the anti-Smicha fellow in Yerushalayim in the early 1500s. Reb Levi ben Chaviv, the Maralnach, and he has an incredible letter about this wayward Kohen. I'll just tell you very quickly, and we'll do the rest outside. There was a Kohen who there was a boy that would help him in his house, and this Kohen screamed at the boy, you stole from me. He hits the kid, he beats the kid up, the kid bleeds to death and he dies. That wasn't it. This Kohen got in a fight with a pregnant woman and he beat her up, and the kid, and there was a miscarriage. Story after story of this Kohen who punching Rabbanim. It's an incredible story in the early 1500s. The wayward Kohen. It's a fascinating letter. It's a long letter. But all these stories. The Kohen would, everywhere he would walk, he would belittle Rabbanim, he would make fun, he was punching, he was hitting. So the question they asked the Ralbach is, this guy is still duchening. This guy's still duchening. How could he say he's benching Ba'ava? I don't know. This guy, there wasn't one rabbi in his vicinity that he hadn't mocked and probably punched as well with his hands. So anyhow, so in the answer, the Ralbach says like this, that you have to have evidence that a person's a murderer. You can't have, if there's no evidence, First of all, killing a fetus, that's not enough. Abortion does not, well, according to the Rogatchow and others, it's murder, but the Rabach says it doesn't invalidate and disqualify the guy from Duchening. That's number one. Even murder, there has to be evidence. If there's no evidence, you can't disqualify the person. If the person knows, then he should disqualify himself. What if it's a suffix? The Ralbach paskins, even if it's a true suffix, you're not sure if you were the one that killed someone, you can't duchen anymore. Because it's a suffix on a doiraisa. The pasuk in Yeshaya says you can't do it if your hands are full of blood. The Ralbach holds, like those Rishonim that hold, that anything that comes from Nach is equal to Chumash. Divrei Kabbalah is like Divrei Torah. And on a suffix you have to be machmer. So over here by the bris, if it's a suffix, if the moil is a suffix, you would have to be machmer. So therefore, the first word that the moil is doing a mitzvah is a very powerful argument. But I was according to the pre-Chodesh, you could just say it was a einus. But where are we going with this? Okay, got to finish up. So the big shail is if a Kohen is in an army, and the Kohen is in an army, he's killing the enemy. And the question is, can he duchen? So, on the next page, I have a few excerpts from a letter from Ovadya Yosef. I'm going to say them very quickly. Most Rabbanim hold that a soldier in the Israeli army, a Kohen, who kills someone in battle, he's allowed to duchen. Because not only he's an einus, he had no choice. He's killing a goy who's a terrorist. He's killing, that person deserves to die. He's saving other Jews. What?
Does killing a goy count?
Does killing a goy count? Very good. So habal hargacha. So a few things. So very, very quickly. So very quickly, look. If you look in number 17, Rabbi Ovadya Yosef brings a big debate between the Be'er Sheva, Rabbi Yisachar Ber Eilenberg, who's in the end of the 1500s, and the Prisha, Rabbi Yeshua Folk Katz, the Rav of Lvov, in the end of the 1500s. The Rabbi Yisachar Ber Eilenberg, the Be'er Sheva, also the Tzei de la Derech on Chumash, is where he actually writes this, holds that even if a Kohen kills a goy, he can't duchen. The Prisha, the Samer, that's the other guy, holds if a Kohen kills a goy, he can. He can duchen. Now, I know that the Tzitz Eliezer believes, he was a Rav in Eretz Yisrael, the Be'er Sheva was a student of the Prisha. The Tzitz Eliezer says, why would he argue on his Rebbe? It must be he wasn't aware that his Rebbe, the Prisha, says killing a guy doesn't disqualify you. Had he been aware of what his Rebbe wrote, he wouldn't have written what he said. So therefore the Tzitz Eliezer believes that according to everyone, killing a guy is not a problem. However, most disagree with him and says you don't have the right to say that. The fact is the Be'er Sheva believes, and others believe as well, killing a guy is a problem. It does disqualify. So that's one issue about killing a guy. J.B. Solevetchik, the Rav J.B. Soleveitchik, well-known, paskend, that a soldier in the Israeli army cannot duchen. He cannot duchen. How do we know this? From Reb Hershel Shechter, who's his Talmud Muvik. He famously quotes this, he heard this from the Rav. And people said, what do you mean is killing a guy? But the Rav said, what do you mean? You have the Tzei de la Derech. Many who hold that killing a guy doesn't get you off the hook. Now, he didn't. Reb Hershel Shechter quotes it. The truth... Yeah, but the pasuk in Yeshaya is talking about killing Yudechem, Dama is talking about killing Jews. J.B. Soloveitchik brought a proof from David HaMelech why David HaMelech was not able to build the Beis Hamikdash. And this is actually in number 19. Look at number 19. Hashem told David that you can't build the Beis Hamikdash because Dam l'roiv shafachta, because you spilled blood. You waged wars. You can't build the house because you spilled lots of blood. Correct the Rav, David spilled blood. He killed Goyim who were attacking the Jews. He was allowed to do it. He should have done it. But the fact is, your hands are full of blood. So to the pasuk in Isaiah, Yedechem damim malei, was any blood? That's where he got his psak.
David's not a Kohen.
No, but you see that the Abish is telling him, Dam l'roiv. The same pasuk of Yeshaya that your hands are full of blood is the same words God uses in Divrei Hayamim that your hands are full of blood, and that was. Okay, so hold on. What?
This is a difficult.
It's talking about the wars. Muhammad's Gedolos Nasisa. What wars is God talking about? It's against Goyim. So the Ovadya Yosef has a whole tshuva in his Yechezkel where he believes very strongly, he couldn't be any stronger, that a soldier Israeli army can definitely yes Duchen. And so is the opinion of Reb Moshe Feinstein. He has a letter as well. And the Tzitzel, they all gang up against Reb Soloveitchik. The truth is that sometimes in the summer I go to Tannersville.
Into Reb Solevetchik
And Rabbi Shechter spent some time there. If he's there, if we cross paths this year, I'd love to discuss this with him, because all arrows seem to indicate that you're allowed to duchen. And in the next just 2 minutes, so first of all, you have the whole machlokes of killing a guy is an issue. The Be'er Sheva holds, meaning as far as an issue, of course you can kill a guy, but as far as not being able to duchen. The Tzitz Eliezer says the Be'er Sheva, had he seen what his Rebbe wrote, he would have retracted.
What does that mean?
That he didn't want to paskin. He's writing this as a commentary on Rashi. He's not writing as a tshuva. He's saying what I believe should be the din.
But in fact, it's not.
But in fact, ask your local rabbi. In number 19, the Ovadya says what? You know what God told David? He says, look in the Radak. The Radak says, you know what Hashem was talking about? The fact that David killed the city of Noiv. We had a shir a few weeks ago. Now, how did David kill the city? He was responsible, but they're chakifin fine indirectly. The Ovadya says, look at the Mefarshim on the Pasuk. It's not talking about David's wars with the Goyim. Now, wait a second. It says clearly, Milchamas Gedolos Asisa. But the Ovadya is very sure it's not talking about David killing. It's not talking about David killing Goyim who are attacking the Jews. Can't be. And the Ovadya number 18, let's just go through number 18. He says, if the Pri Chadash says killing a guy ba'oinus accidentally doesn't disqualify you, right? Or when a guy tells Reuven, kill Shimon or I'll kill you, and Reuven should take the bullet, but instead he kills Shimon, where Reuven was wrong, but he's still allowed a duchen, how much more so if you kill someone in a state of a mitzvah? If Goyim are attacking Jews, and you're killing Goyim who deserve to die because they're attacking the Jew, and you're saving Jewish lives, he says, of course it's okay. Now he quotes a few earlier tshuvas who say that soldiers that are in war should not duchen. Towards the bottom, he quotes a few tshuvas. He says they were talking about, imagine you're a soldier in, you're a soldier in Russia, right? And you're fighting against another country. Russia and Japan. Let's say two countries, right? Russia and Ukraine. You're killing Jews too. And who are you defending? Not particularly Jews, right? Is there a mitzvah for you to be in the war? No, you're kind of forced to be in the war. There's no mitzvah particularly. You're not defending the Jewish land. You are killing Jews too, who are also being forced into the war. You can't compare the whole thing at all. He says at the end, number 18, 4 lines to the bottom. Heim dibru lefi mekayimam v'shaitom. They spoke according to those the circumstances. It was be'ikr because they killed from other armies that there were Yidden there as well, and those Yidden didn't want to be there, and they didn't deserve to die. Yeah. And you're killing them, those Jews who didn't deserve to die, to save whoever. Aval Khan and the Milcham in Eretz Yisrael, that they're killing the Goyim to save Jews. Adarabba, they should go. Tell the Kohen, go, and we'll take you back in your Duchen. Reb Ovadya Yosef is black and white, the guy can Duchen. Reb Moshe was black and white, he could Duchen. And the Tzitz Eliezer all against Rav Soloveitchik. Rav Soloveitchik says the fact you're killing Goyim, well, the Be'er Sheva says it doesn't help. And Soloveitchik very much quoted what Hashem told David. Hashem told David, you waged many wars. It sounds like David was denied the opportunity to build the Beis Hamikdash because of the wars he waged. Now those wars, l'chayra, were not just to annex land and be You could Taisha Pasuk's talking about the wars that David fought that were just to increase the borders of Eretz Yisrael, to further the borders, but not self-defense. That's going to be what Rebbe Ovadya is going to taina. That if it's self-defense wars, that's not what God was against. Kal v'chomer from the Pri Chadash. If the Pri Chadash says that even by an oinus, how much more so if it's a mitzvah?
So what is that?
That's why, let me just say one thing, I'm just going to go, that L'chayra, we saw in number 3, the Gemara Shana says, oh, the whole Katega Nasaneg is only if it's done inside the Beis Hamikdash, in the Kodesh Kodashim, right? So, when the Kohanim are Duchening, they're not Duchening in the Beis Hamikdash, they're in the shul here in Miami Beach, right? How could you apply En Katega Nasaneg? Wasn't the conclusion of number 3, it's only if it's like Bifnim? Okay, blowing shofar is like the Kodesh Kodashim, we can say every Duchening is the same. So in number 16, Rabbi Ovadya quotes from the Chidah in a few of his Sfarim. The Chidah says like this. The Chidah says a very important thing. No, the Chidah says like this. The shofar is not a golden calf. The shofar comes from a cow. It reminds, that's only a problem because it's like it's bifnim. Or the Kohen Gadol that would walk in with golden garments, this is not the same gold. It's not the same gold that was used for the golden calf. When it's not the same item, it just remotely reminds, then it's only a problem if it's bifnim, the Kodesh Kodashim, or if it's like shofar and therefore it's like it's bifnim. But says the Chidah, if it's the item itself, it applies anywhere and everywhere. So if it's the same hand, it's the same Kohen that killed someone, he can't Duchen. Wherever that applies. Or like by Aaron, it's the same Aaron.
But he
the
was
same Aaron.
But he did go in.
I said that. That's why I said it's going to be a very good question. But it's the same Aaron.
It's not a good question. The answer is it's not even a question. Aaron has no.
No, Aaron can't be used for the Parah Aduma because he was the guy that was involved in
the. Go in and do the Keteris in the Kodesh Kodashim. All the questions in Gemara Kedushin in number 5 were against what's going on there. They didn't ask the simplest question. What about Aaron himself who went in?
Zeicher l'churban. We're going to leave this question unanswered for now. Okay, Yeshekayach.
Thank you.